looking for advice. My girlfriend, 29, and I, 29, have been together for a year now. So the other night we went out with some friends like we usually would. We didn't plan on being out too late as she had to work in the morning. We got carried away and ended up going to another bar with one other friend. While we were there, we were just chit-chatting about random stuff and whatnot. There was a guy sitting next to my girlfriend, and I was sitting next to her. He started talking to her, and he was clearly already drunk. He wound up buying a couple of shots for him, my girlfriend, and one other person who he was harassing. My girlfriend tried to end the conversation by turning her back to him and facing me. We were talking, and a couple of minutes later, the guy gets my girlfriend's attention and points out that he had gotten her a shot. She took the shot, and we went outside to get away. We didn't think anything of it at the time. We were just out having fun. Anyway, the night carried on, and she seemed to be fine, nothing out of the ordinary. She may have looked a little tipsy at the end of the night, but that's it. She seemed as alert as she's always been. We had only had a few drinks, so I thought everything was good. We've been out plenty of times before and gotten way more messed up. So we ended up going back home, and she was all over me. Nothing unusual for a night out for us. We ended up having intimacy, and it was great as always. The next morning we woke up and she tells me that she couldn't remember last night. She told me all she can remember is up until taking that shot. She is so distraught, being that she has always been very careful with strangers. Everything happened so fast that night, so we don't know when it could have been slipped in her drink. She seemed completely coherent throughout the night, but she doesn't remember anything. Now I know that there's no way we could have known what had happened. But I feel terrible about intimacy that night, and she does too. There's absolutely no way that I would ever take advantage of her. But I feel awful looking back, knowing now that she wasn't there for it. I feel gross about it, and she has expressed the same feelings. So I've been giving her space and letting her work through it. Our intimacy life has always been fantastic and very strong. However, she talked to me about it, and she doesn't feel comfortable with the idea of having intimacy or being intimate right now, and doesn't know how long it will take to feel right about it. She knows that I have a high intimacy drive, and I think she's afraid that I'll leave her because of it. I've reassured her that I'm here to support her no matter what. Ever since it happened, she has completely changed. The light in her eyes has faded, and I can tell how on edge and depressed she's gotten. I want to help her work through this, but I don't know what to do. I don't know if I can do anything to help, or if it is something that she needs to work through on her own. It's ending the life of me to see her this way, and I don't know what to do. I guess I'm just looking for help or some advice. Edit. That night we had 3 beers and 2 drinks over a span of about 5 hours, plus her 1 shot. We're experienced drinkers, and both know what a blackout from drinking is like. This was not that. This man in question was considerably older, maybe in his late 50s. So I didn't think much of it. I just thought he was another old local drunk. After the shot, we went outside, and when we went back in, my girlfriend and I switched seats. I noticed she was still uncomfortable, so we moved to a table across the bar and carried on. A bit later, he tried approaching her again, but I immediately got between them, and he didn't bother us the rest of the night. I know I should have stepped in a lot sooner. Towards the end of the night, I could tell she did seem a bit disoriented, but I just chalked that up to the drinks and tiredness from intimacy. I have a therapist, and she's scheduled for 1 in a month. I contacted the bar and let them know the situation. No reply yet, so I don't know if there is any way to find out if the other woman is okay. She has a couple of friends that she's talked to about it. We've both agreed that we're not going out for a while, and we're cutting out alcohol altogether, except for occasionally when we're out for dinner. I will say the next day she was very tired. She went to work for maybe an hour and came home and slept the rest of the day. We've talked about it since then and a bit earlier today, and things feel like they're going okay. She is still comfortable with small things, and there are little things she does that tell me she still wants me sexually, so I feel like we're heading towards the right direction. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1, get her tested. That way she will know for sure and could be reacting over something that really didn't happen. Then she could start to feel better about the entire situation. She could have drank too much, and it was enough to bring her over the edge with the shot. My friend was drugged at a nightclub, but she went from sober to extremely drunk in a matter of minutes. You could see the changes in her, and her behavior was really odd from what her normal is. We took her home and she did get tested and was found with the date wrap drug in her system. Also, never accept a drink from a stranger. Go see the drink being made. If I leave my drink on a table and walk away, I do not drink it and will ask for a new one. That night, we, 6 women, were brought drinks. I refused, and several others did too. My friend didn't. I grew up in San Francisco, so you have to be sharp when going to clubs for this very reason as a woman. Comment 2. Hey OP, I see a lot of people focusing on the drugged aspect. They are missing the point that if you weren't her boyfriend, getting a chick wasted and taking them home would be date rap. That's how you both feel, yeah? I agree with the poster who said to sit down and say intimacy is off the table and let her know she is loved. And you will stand by her as you both process this. She can try calling a crisis line that can point to resources. Frankly, I think both of you talking to a counselor of some type would be beneficial. Good luck. Now, for the update, thanks for sticking around. A lot has happened since my last post. Just when I thought things couldn't get more complicated, they did. The bar finally got back to me. They checked their security footage, and guess what? They saw the guy slipping something into my girlfriend's drink. They couldn't identify him, but they've reported it to the police. My girlfriend is terrified and I'm furious. We've been trying to keep it together, but it's tough. In the midst of all this, my old friend, let's call her Jay, reached out to me. She heard about what happened and wanted to offer support. Jay and I have a complicated history. We almost got together before I met my girlfriend. She's been a good friend, but there's always been this unspoken thing between us. She's been texting me a lot, and it's been nice to have someone to talk to, but I can't shake this guilty feeling. My girlfriend noticed I've been texting someone a lot. She asked me about it, and I told her it was just Jay checking in on us. I could see the worry in her eyes. She's been through so much, and now she's got to deal with the possibility of not trusting me too. I hate that I'm adding to her stress. Then, 2 days ago, Jay dropped a shocker. She confessed she still has feelings for me and thinks we should be together. I was shocked. I didn't see it coming, and I didn't know what to say. I told her I'm with my girlfriend, and that's not going to change. But Jay kept pushing, saying that my girlfriend's issues are going to drive a wedge between us, and that I deserve to be happy. I've been avoiding Jay since then, but it's been hard. She's been a part of my life for so long, and I can't help but wonder if she's right. My girlfriend is struggling, and I'm trying to be there for her, but it's like we're stuck in this dark place, and I don't know if we'll ever get out. Yesterday, my girlfriend and I had a long talk. She told me she's been feeling inadequate and scared that she's losing me. I reassured her that's not the case, but I couldn't bring myself to tell her about Jay's confession. I'm scared it would break her. I've been feeling so torn. I love my girlfriend, but the weight of everything is crushing me. I'm trying to be the rock she needs, but I'm not made of stone. I've been losing sleep, my work is suffering, and I feel like I'm on the verge of making a decision I might regret. Last night I made a choice. I blocked Jay's number. It was hard, but I knew it was the right thing to do. My girlfriend needs me, and I need to be fully present for her. I can't have distractions, especially not like this. Today my girlfriend had her first therapy session. It was tough for her, but she said it felt good to talk to someone professional. I'm hopeful that this is the first step towards healing for her, and for us. We're taking it one day at a time, but I'm committed to seeing this through with her. I'm not sure what the future holds, but I know I have to be honest with myself and with her. No more secrets, no more what-ifs. It's going to be a long road, but I'm ready to walk it with her. Thanks for reading. My husband thinks he can cheat me out of a fair settlement for our house. So I expose his scheme to the buyers and watch as his profit plummets. My ex-husband, 35-year-old male, has offered me 29-year-old female, a lowball divorce settlement offer after suffering so much trauma in the last couple of years of our marriage. I, a 29-year-old female, am divorcing my husband, 35-year-old male, of 5 years. Sorry, it's going to be a long one. A bit of background. My ex and I met nearly 10 years ago and got married after dating for 4 years. During the time that we were together, everything seemed normal, and we even planned to have kids. Everything went wrong during the pandemic, leading up to the breakdown of the relationship. His father was diagnosed with a terminal condition and given a week to live. His father died, and my ex became suicidal. I did my absolute best to be there for him and arranged therapy sessions, provided resources from a friend who works with people going through similar things. During this exact time, I woke up one morning to find that I'd gone completely blind in one eye, with very reduced vision in the other eye. It was discovered that I had inflammation on the brain, and after a barrage of tests, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. I was put on high-dose steroids and regained my eyesight over a period of 3 months. During this time, my ex was non-responsive. He would sit in front of his Xbox nearly 24/7. I made sure he ate and showered, but found it extremely overwhelming to be taking care of him and myself while trying to recover. So I had to get my mom and sister to alternate coming to help me. He refused to let his family know how he was, and I respected that decision at the time. In hindsight, I should have let them know. As the months went by, he began to feel better, but unfortunately for me, I began to experience panic attacks, and he became somewhat violent. He would break things around the house, and if I got visibly upset, he would angrily say that I had no right to be upset because the violence wasn't directed at me. When I accidentally dropped things, he would make snide comments about me being clumsy, despite knowing that multiple sclerosis affects my grip strength. It went on this way until I woke up one morning and realized I had to get myself out. So I left and told him why. He never once showed an interest in how my health was, or offered to attend a single appointment with me. Fast forward to the current situation. The house we jointly own has gone up in value, and over the 5 years we've owned it, he was making additional mortgage payments monthly, so the equity has gone up. I have contributed my half of the bills from day one, despite earning significantly less than him, save for the additional mortgage payment. Without getting a formal valuation, just one obtained via Zoopla, we can expect to sell the house and each walk away with $58,000 after paying the mortgage. He would like to keep the house, and I just want a clean break, and would be willing to forego the formal valuation, which I know would put the value up by at least $20,000. So I'd accept $50,000 to walk away. But he has refused and given me a lowball offer of $30,000, saying that I don't deserve more, as he put down the initial deposit for the house and has been making double payments on the mortgage. He also said that it's not like he cheated, so he doesn't owe me anything for me leaving. I hope to get this settled without lawyers, but it's looking more and more like I won't be able to avoid that. I don't want to argue with him about money and just want a clean break. What should I do? Edit. Thank you for all the advice and suggestions. It's really heartwarming. I've been in therapy for nearly 4 months now. The equity owned in the house jointly is $116,000, and I have now contacted a few local solicitors, and a couple sound promising. I really hadn't thought about how my contributions were valid, like me painting the bedrooms or taking care of the house and garden. It's definitely given me a lot of food for thought. Thank you all so very much for your kind words. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. I think the main concern is not exactly the fact that he's lowballing you, but rather the fact that he's been violent towards you. Life sucks and we lose people, but that doesn't mean we get to treat anyone else in our lives like shoot and abuse them. Get a really good lawyer, 100%. I would also post the specifics about the house in our Ask Alawire for more advice. Comment 2. If your name is on the mortgage, there likely is no clean break unless he sells the house. He would need to refinance, and mortgage rates are significantly worse today, so that may not even be an option. You don't want him to just take over the loan, as that prevents you from buying another house in the future. So, like everyone else here says, you need a lawyer. Now, for the update, thanks for sticking with me through this mess. So, things escalated quickly after my last post. My ex, let's call him Mr. Charming, decided to throw a curveball my way. He got his brother involved, who's always had it out for me since day one. His brother started spreading rumors that I was the one who caused all the stress that led to my ex's breakdown. Can you believe that? Anyway, Mr. Charming's brother showed up at my work, causing a scene, claiming I was trying to take advantage of their family tragedy to squeeze out more money from the divorce. My boss got wind of it, and let's just say it wasn't a good look for me. I was mortified, and it didn't help that my coworkers started looking at me differently after that. In the midst of all this, my sister, bless her, thought she was helping by confronting Mr. Charming. She ended up making things worse. She told him off, saying he was being unfair and that he should be ashamed of himself. This just made him dig his heels in deeper. He then had the nerve to tell me that if I didn't accept his offer, he'd make sure I got nothing. Feeling cornered, I made a choice. I decided to take the $30,000 and just be done with it. I thought it would end all the drama and let me move on with my life. But after I agreed, I found out he was planning to sell the house immediately because he had a buyer willing to pay way above market value. That stung. It meant I walked away with far less than I deserved, and he knew it all along. To add insult to injury, my health took a turn for the worse. Stress, it's unalived. I had to take some time off work, which meant my finances got even tighter. I started second-guessing my decision to settle, but what was done. Just when I thought I could start to heal, Mr. Charming's new girlfriend, yes, he has one already, decided to reach out to me. She wanted to clear the air and extend an olive branch. I didn't trust her intentions, but I agreed to meet her for coffee. Big mistake. She spent the whole time bragging about how they were going to renovate the house with the money from the sale, and how they were planning a trip to Europe with the extra cash. I felt like such a fool. And then, the final blow. My mom, who's always been my rock, admitted to me that she had known about the buyer and the potential sale price. She didn't want to influence my decision or add more stress to my life, so she kept quiet. I felt betrayed. I couldn't believe she would keep something like that from me, even if her intentions were good. So here I am, trying to pick up the pieces of my life, feeling like everyone's played me. I'm out of a marriage, out of a fair share of money, and struggling to keep my health in check. I'm trying to stay positive, but it's hard not to feel like the world's against me. Thanks for reading. It helps to vent. My husband ignores me and our baby after birth. So I threaten divorce, but when he throws an anniversary party without me, I crash it and expose his lies to everyone. I, 30-year-old female, cannot trust my husband, 32-year-old male, after having a baby. My husband completely withdrew from our baby and me right after I gave birth. I did everything myself. I had horrible postpartum anxiety and postpartum depression because I was burnt out and felt completely alone and rejected. I threatened divorce and to file for full custody of our child. I had receipts to prove I paid for everything and texts from him that proved he was being neglectful. I had every right not to trust him with our child. He didn't go to therapy, but he agreed he probably had postpartum depression and would work on adjusting to his new life as a father. It's been a little over a year, and he has improved drastically as far as being a father. I trust him with our child now, completely. Now that he has resolved his issues with parenting, we want to improve our relationship. I guess while I was recovering from postpartum anxiety and postpartum depression myself, it pushed me far, far, far away from him. I don't trust him to take care of me or comfort me. Nor do I want to go to him for any emotional support. We have turned into roommates and prefer to spend time apart. This has been bothering him, not me so much. And he wants to work on intimacy and rekindling our relationship. I agreed to try to work on our relationship, but I've found that I'm just not interested in him anymore. I don't want to put in any effort into our marriage. This frustrates him, and in return, makes him want to work even less. What concerns me is that I just don't care. The biggest thing for me in a relationship is emotional security, and I don't have that with him. I don't want to allow myself to open up to him again out of fear he'll hurt or abandon me again. We are now at a stalemate. We have talked about this issue a few times, and it ends in a heated argument. and very little has changed. Every time I try to talk to him about postpartum anxiety and postpartum depression and how it almost took my life, I feel like he brushes it under the rug. I feel like he doesn't see how seriously ill I was during that time. He definitely doesn't see how he contributed to that pain. This also hurts me because I think I'll only have one child. That is not what I wanted, but I don't think I could ever have another baby with him. This also contributes to me not wanting to put in any effort. I just got in with a therapist and my first appointment is coming soon. Since we have opened this Pandora's box, I have been emotionally unwell. I obviously haven't addressed my issues fully, but I am looking forward to therapy. I can't wait to have a safe place to get this all out and feel heard. Has anyone else gone through this, and how did you get through this? Should I let down my guard and trust him again, or should he be the one actively working to regain my trust? Or should I cut him slack because we were both going through the trenches and he just couldn't handle it? Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1, I have been through this. My husband essentially abandoned me and my son after he was born. He only gave us a place to live. He started parenting more around 6 months. My son is 6 years old now, and my husband still continues to neglect us on most days. We've talked about that time, but he's never really apologized, and my resentment has grown into contempt. We're on our way to divorce now because he won't change, and I can't get over it, mostly because he keeps neglecting me and my son. He traumatized me and continues to do so. If your husband can't acknowledge the trauma he caused you, you won't be able to trust him. He needs to put the work in to rebuild your trust. Comment 2, that he will still not acknowledge the pain of what you went through, even after all of that, is wild to me. I don't really think I could get past that or trust someone who would dismiss my experience of that kind of trauma. Especially if he was experiencing something similar. Like if he didn't have the capacity to help, then he still should be able to acknowledge that you needed help. I find a partner dismissing health struggles, mental or physical, to be something I could not deal with. If I cannot trust you when I'm sick, I cannot trust you. Because even if you don't have another child, you will get sick. Somehow, some way. Now, for the update. Thanks for sticking around for this update. So, a lot has happened in the past week, and honestly, it's been pretty tough. Remember how I said my husband and I were at a stalemate? Well, things escalated quickly. Out of the blue, he decided to throw a surprise anniversary party. It was our 5th anniversary, and I guess he thought it would be a grand gesture to show his commitment to fixing our marriage. But the thing is, he invited all his friends and family, not mine. It felt like a slap in the face. I was so angry, I couldn't even pretend to enjoy it. It was like he was showing off to everyone else how great he was, without actually making the effort where it mattered. But here's where it gets complicated. During the party, I overheard a conversation between him and his cousin. Turns out, he had been secretly funneling money into an account for our child's future. He was ashamed of how he acted after the birth and wanted to make it right, but he was too proud to tell me. I was torn between being touched by his thoughtfulness and furious that he kept it a secret. After everyone left, we had a huge fight. I accused him of trying to buy his way out of guilt, and he accused me of being cold and unforgiving. It was ugly. But in the heat of the moment, he broke down and admitted that he was terrified of losing me and our child. He said he felt like he had already messed up so badly that there was no way back for us. I didn't know what to do with that. Part of me wanted to scream at him for being weak and desperate, but another part of me, a part I didn't even know was there, felt sorry for him. I ended up doing something I never thought I would. I forgave him, not because I'm weak, but because holding on to that anger was eating me up inside. We decided to start couples therapy. It's been rough, but we're making progress. We're learning to communicate better and actually listen to each other. It's not perfect, but it's a start. Then, just when I thought we might be getting somewhere, I found out he had been laid off from his job. He didn't tell me for weeks, just pretended to go to work every day. I was floored. How could he keep something like that from me? It felt like we were back to square one. But this time, instead of shutting down, he opened up. He told me he was scared of disappointing me again, of proving that he couldn't take care of us. It was a mess, but it was honest. We're figuring out our finances and what this means for our family. It's going to be tough, but we're in it together. I'm still not sure what the future holds for us, but I'm starting to think that maybe, just maybe, we can get through this. It's not going to be easy, but nothing worth having ever is, right? Thanks for reading. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.